And I think what we've seen today as this terrible, terrible budget was passed. Just one of the quotes from Thomas Jefferson, this brilliant man, was, "The natural progress of things is for liberty to yield and government to gain ground." And that's exactly what we saw today with this budget. Liberty was yielding, the government taking more and more control of everything. Thomas Jefferson knew it. I mean, it's like Solomon said, there's nothing new under the sun. These things that people think are new and innovative, it's not new. It failed in the New Testament church. It failed the Pilgrims, such that when they nearly starved, half of them nearly starved the first winter, they came up with this grand idea: let's give everybody their own private property and make them responsible for producing on their own property. If they have excess, it's theirs. They can sell it, barter it, use it, whatever they want to do, save it. It's theirs. It was a great idea, and that carried over 150 years into the Constitution, this idea of private property and the government not trying to run everything. But what I would humbly submit, the way it appears to me, and why we're seeing so much government intervention, the more it does, the more it feels like it has to do. But what we've seen, like Madoff, people who, like Countrywide, some of the people there who shoved people into mortgages they couldn't afford, packaged them together, and then sold them off without recourse, made their millions. You know, things like that. Those are the things this nation, this government of this nation are supposed to be looking for. We're supposed to make sure there's a level playing field. We're supposed to protect this nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. We had some domestic enemies that were hurting people in this country. But what happens is, when we get so caught up in trying to run everything, telling Detroit exactly what kind of cars you got to make, telling the business people this is what you got to, we are so busy telling people how to run their lives, how to run their businesses, that we lost what we are supposed to be doing. We're supposed to provide these people with a defense from the crooks, from the domestic enemies, from the foreign enemies. But oh no, we're too busy telling them what they're supposed to do. And I love what Abe Lincoln said. He said, "We have been the recipients of the choicest bounties of heaven. We have grown in numbers, wealth, and power as no other nation." He concluded, though, "but we have forgotten God." Because if you know that there is an ultimate universal source of right and wrong, then you care more about doing right and trying to help others do right. And that's what this government's supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be catching cheaters, dishonest people hurting America, and we lose that grip when we try to run everything. And I would also point out, as you try to get your hands around this huge budget that increases the deficit, I mean, people, we got beat up in 05 and 06, my first years here. We were in the majority. We were beat up because we were spending too much money, and we were. But then turn around 07, 08, the Democrats have control of everything, and they're not reining in spending. It goes through the roof. And now it's gone even further. So if you want to know the bottom line secret of what this budget is about, I would submit to you, it can be found in one action. That was in this administration sending Secretary of State Clinton to China to beg them to loan us more money. That's what this budget does. It makes us beg China for more money. And yield back to my friend.
And reclaiming, and I very much thank the gentleman from Texas. I'm starting my 7th year here, and I've watched some sea changes politically. I watched some things shift back and forth across the aisle. I've watched the majority change. I watched the presidency change, and I've watched the majority change the United States Senate. I don't know that I've worked within every possible configuration out of those 3 entities, but a number of different ones. And one of the things that I've observed is that the voice that I heard from the Democrats consistently over those first 4 years that I was here, and then to some degree over the next two, was especially from the Blue Dogs, Mr. Speaker, that came to this floor and said, we've got to have pay-as-you-go accounting. We've got to have a balanced budget every year. We have to have a fiscally responsible government, and would make the argument that they would want to tighten down the spending, that we were spending too much money. They always wanted to spend